Evelyn to Philip, March 25th, 1944. Dearest Phil, I've decided to make this a running letter and finish it tomorrow. I've got quite a bit to say and want this to be a longie. To begin with, and before I tell you the little things, I want you to know that Ruth mailed off 2 packages to you today for me. Last night she finally nailed a whole box of O. Henry's 24. And since the 24 didn't seem to fill the box, I bought 2 more bars, making 26 in all. I mailed that off along with the other package containing a box of Stevens chocolate straws, plain chocolates, also Stevens, and a box of Bond cookies, such as I sent some time ago. Guess that will have to hold you for a little while, 'cause I'm kinda low on funds at the moment. I have an opportunity to get a whole box of peanut chews, and will take advantage of that just as soon as I have available funds. As I told you in yesterday's letter, I went to the Lindley to see Thousands Cheer, and I can only echo your praises. I haven't enjoyed a picture as much as this one in a long, long time. I almost saw it twice. Faye accompanied me. After the movies, we stopped in Ben's and each had a malted. Wish I could send a couple of those along with me attached. I noticed a new ice cream, orange cherry pecan, and Ben gave me a whole spoonful to taste. You guessed it, it was delicious. Just the sort of ice cream you'd go for. He was the one who said I could have the peanut chews whenever I want them. I walked Faye home as it was nice and I felt like walking. We got on the subject of our husbands and I got to remembering how we first met when you looked at me at Parvin State Park, how you told me I had sex appeal, and down the line until I was feeling awfully hungry for the sight of you. At this point, I reached the house and had a picnic getting the door open. The key just wouldn't turn, and I had to try many times before I finally succeeded in opening it. It was about 11:30, and to my surprise, Gloria. She came last night after all. We all chatted for a good while, and then Gloria gave each and every one of us a gift. Me, a light fuchsia, reddish tailored blouse. It has 4 rows of stitching, same color, about the edges of the sleeves, puffed, and collar. A small space, and then 4 more rows of stitching. It buttons differently, too. There are 3 rose pearl buttons close together, a small space, and then 3 more rose pearl buttons to close the front. The collar comes to long, sharp points, and the whole blouse fits beautifully. She gave Goldie a peach satin bed jacket, Harry, belated birthday gift, a beige shirt, and Mom a pair of pearl earrings, a cluster of 3 small white pearls. Santa Claus Strongen, we called her. Page 2. Mrs. Reisner visited yesterday. Davy is still a chemist, or rather working at it, but due to the new ruling about men under 26 being drafted regardless of necessity, is now 1A. They are wondering what will happen. March 26, 1944. Flash. Ethel had a boy, 3 o'clock this morning. Weight, 7 pounds 7 ounces. After only 1 hour of terrific labor. I think they intend to name it Stewart or Stewart with a U. Take your pick. The family is a little disappointed, but nevertheless happy that it's all over. I hear the newcomer looks like Paul. I sort of got off the track. At any rate, Gloria looks better than ever. We sat and gabbed till 2:30 a.m. and then hit the hay. Adele woke me 4 times between then and 6:30 so you can imagine how I felt the next morning, yesterday. Sam Nierenberg has a car now and gives it most of his attention, which Gloria thinks is good for him mentally. It was lovely yesterday and is lovely today, regular spring weather. I dressed Adele in the morning and stayed out all morning. Ruth and Seymour were taking pictures in the back, so I stuck my puss in too. We also snapped several of Adele. We took one of Adele with the little Mazer boy, who is the same age. We tried to get them to hold hands, but nothing doing. They wouldn't do it long enough to enable us to snap it. I doubt if I'll look well, but it is something nevertheless. Faye went downtown, and since it was the last day before the 20% tax goes on cosmetics, leather goods, etc., I splurged by giving her $1.10 to get me a bottle of Elizabeth Arden's Brilliantine for my hair. My hair needs some attention, and this does the trick. It gives luster and smells awfully good. You'd like it. Lena Miller called me last night, and we also talked for a good hour. Herbie was supposed to be drafted, but had a terrible auto accident, thereby securing an indefinite deferment. He broke his jaw in 4 places, broke his wrists and ankle, knocked out all his teeth, plus bruises and whatnot. Lena said he was laid up for 3 months and is just beginning to get on his feet. At first they thought he had a brain concussion and wouldn't come through it. Her girlfriend Sylvia and Jack Taylor, Sid's brother, were married a month ago, and the Millers are very friendly with the Taylors. Quite a small world, isn't it? We made plans about seeing each other, and she will come to see me first. We weren't definite about what day, but it will be in the near future. We want to see each other's baby. Page 3. My father spoke to his boss about taking me on if and when I decided to go to work, and he would be more than glad to have me. I could either work in the office or sell juvenile furniture. I told my dad I wouldn't work more than 5 days a week, because I'd want some time with Adele. Phil, before you give me your reactions, let me remind you that I don't relish the idea of returning to work, for I would like to raise Adele my way. But it is an opportunity to get us into a good position financially, and one that I wouldn't like to pass up. I'd like nothing better than to get off to a good start once you get back. Adele would have excellent care. In fact, I think my mother has more patience with her than I do. She won't eat time and again, yet when I take her over to my mother's, she goes to the food and eats like a little horse. That's kids for you. The pay would have to be between $25 and $30 per week. My grandmother expects to leave just before Passover, and I could go right to work about the middle of April. Please, baby, don't be angry with me, for it is in my power at the moment to help us. Believe me, sweet, when I say I would rather see you doing it than me. I know you have pride, and I'd feel the same way you do if I were a man. You are doing your very best in your present circumstances, and I have an opportunity to do better. What do you say, sweet? You know how anxious I am to please you, baby, and I can't help feeling a bit indecisive about the whole thing till I know it's okay with you. Remember, duplex apartments. My grandmother told my mother that she's going to give Adele $5 when she leaves. I'll believe it when I see it. She's crazy about the kid and makes no bones about it. Last night I read Gloria many of your letters. She loves to listen to them and loves your style of writing. Since she is so appreciative of such things, I took the liberty of reading some more intimate parts, if and you don't mind. She always says you ought to be so proud of him, Ev. I am. Today the Browns dropped in for a short while. I read them the 3 letters I received from Sid this past week. Uncle put a dollar bill in Adele's hand, and I refused to accept it, but was forced to take it whether I liked it or not. I told Adele to return it to him, and she did, but he sent her back to me with it, and she made me take it. She's not so dumb. My cousin Bessie drops in occasionally. She had TB. You'd never recognize her, sweet. She's positively attractive. She's slim and a stunning dresser. She has plenty of money to spend on clothes and has lovely taste. She was wearing a stunning gray plaid man-tailored suit, $35, red tailored blouse, black leather shoes, red bag, and a large bunch of black ostrich feathers in her hair. She actually can look pretty. She thinks Adele is gorgeous. Page 4. Hal Chase is in town with his wife, and they are staying at Ethel's. Hal has an engagement at the Earl with Ray Heatherton's band. Evidently, he has an act as he receives billing right under Ray Heatherton. The whole gang went to the movies last night, Ethel included, and then hit the hay. 3 o'clock, Ethel started yelling murder, and the whole bunch piled into the car and went to the hospital. At 5, they were back in bed, and it was all over. Harry and Goldie went to Camden tonight to see Hal, as they played at the Stanley in Camden on Sunday, as you will recall. Gloria went to see Ethel with the rest of the gang this afternoon. Mom and I will see her later in the week. Ray is taking off from her job to spend the 10 days with Paul, and Ethel won't need our aid at all. Adele looked exactly like a Cupid doll with the white bow in her hair, pink piqué dress with full skirt, pink socks, and white shoes. Her latest shoes are the nicest she has ever had. They stay white longer. I shall endeavor to get buckskin hereafter. Adele had a grand time this morning riding in a wagon. She held on to the sides and enjoyed every minute of it. She likes to ride a tricycle too, and I guess I'll have to be getting one in the near future. Can you believe it? She's a regular little girl and no longer a baby. The other day Sarah gave her a brush to brush her hair. She brushed her hair and then cleared the brush of excess hair by throwing each piece on the floor. She always watches me carefully and then mimics to perfection. What a kid. She's the biggest show-off you ever saw and loves attention. She gets jealous if I don't pay strict attention to her. I can hear you saying, just like a woman. When she's all prettied up, she'll stand and admire herself in the mirror. She slept fairly well last night, thank God, and I managed to get some rest. Natalie's new bedroom set is lovely, bone white with hand-painted roses. It's girlish and so pretty. Betty got her a kidney-shaped vanity with mirrored top and white organdy skirt. Natalie is still up in the clouds. She never thought she'd have such a lovely room so soon. And now, sweetness, I'll say a fond good night. I guess Ethel's new little boy will be a big boy before you get to see him. I pray that I'll have you here for my birthday next year. I adore you, baby mine, with a love that grows daily. I guess you know what I do to you were you only here now. Sigh. I had my period for 8 days, having finished today, and it sort of knocked me a bit. I haven't had it for that long since I had Adele. All's well that ends well, and that goes for our separation. A kiss from your Ev. Philip to Evelyn, March 25th, 1944. Evie, darling. Again, no mail. I'm so disgusted with the mail service I can hardly contain myself. God knows the daily prospect of receiving a letter from home is the one bright thing in an otherwise drab existence. To be deprived of this is both depressing and aggravating, and I'm burned up, so much so that I'd better say no more about it. There really isn't much to write about, and I was about to resort to V-mail again when it struck me that it would be an injustice to you who take so much pains to ensure that I receive the maximum of mail. It wouldn't be fair to deprive you because someone else isn't on the ball. Thereupon I determined to write 2 of these pages if I have to sit here all night. Earlier this evening, after a very busy day, I had laid down on my bunk to relax. The weather, you'll have to guess, made me terribly homesick, and there were moments during the day when I was aware of most disgusting pangs of longing and loneliness. It is a most wretched feeling, a mixture of frustration and utter helplessness, and most unwelcome. I quit rather early, hoping to sleep my mood off. Before I lay down, I looked long and hard at your picture, smiling so cheerfully at me from the shelf, but this only intensified my longing. So I flopped myself on the bunk to court the forgetfulness and oblivion to be found in sleep. I was just dozing off, in spite of Klein's boisterous carrying on, when Red came in to ask me if I wouldn't go to the movie with him. I knew WWII was a lady was playing, and I did want to see it, so I agreed to go without any further. Page 2, adieu. On the way, we stopped at the mess hall to eat a supper of fried frankfurters. I could have said hot dogs, but frankfurters is a much longer word. Catch? Potatoes, corn, cinnamon-flavored applesauce, and tea. Arrived at the theater, I settled. I almost said back, but the benches don't have backs. I settled down. Don't be funny, Chippy. I know benches don't have down either. Anyway, I settled. Settled? Settled. To enjoy the colorful and tuneful and eyeful. How'd that get in there? WWII. Alas and alack, archaic but expressive, it was not to be. Just as I was beginning to enjoy myself, the damned projector went on the blink again. All through the first reel, the sound was so low that it was impossible to understand it. Tommy Dorsey's orchestra just wasted their time going through the motions. The second reel was just getting underway, with the sound showing decided improvement when, bingo, the damn projector wouldn't project. By this time, the frankfurters were beginning to make themselves felt, and they didn't taste nearly so good on the way up, and I was heartily wishing I had a bicarb. Red said he had had enough and rose to go, asking me if I was coming along. I was right beside him when he started down the aisle. When I reached the hut, I helped myself to the soda, after which I felt much better. Then I proceeded to the orderly room to write this. This just about covers my day, and what a day. Phooey. About now I should say something nonchalant, and don't give a damn like. Oh well, tomorrow's another day. But if I do, I'll probably be tempted to add, yeah, that's just the trouble. So I won't say it. If I start right here to tell you how much I miss you, want you, love you, adore you, and worship you, my darling Evelyn, it should bring me to just about here, and exactly 2 pages. I feel much better now. Love, your Phil.